Alright, what's up everybody? So here we are back again at the lab, literally at the lab. I'm wrapping up this test. So this is part 5 of the sealant test. We let this go for about 3.5 months. 24-hour exposure outside all the time. Just constant exposure to the Florida environment. Have not touched this in about 5 weeks. Has not been washed, nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with just spraying it down with water, seeing how what is performing. We're going to wash it real quick, and then we're going to pretty much announce a winner at this point. Next process for the lab here at the detailer's lab is to do the coating test. So we kind of want to wrap this up. At 3.5 months, you can kind of see who's who in the game, you know. So we're going to rinse this down real quick, even though it's been raining all day. We're going to rinse it down, we're going to foam it, we're going to rinse it down, and then give you some feedback. Alright, so here in POV mode, tax system, XPC, ceramic detail spray, OptiSeal, HyperSeal, Clear Finish Radiance, Geon Cure, Blackfire Sealant, Biotech, BioSeal, IGL Premier, SPS Graphene. Now keep in mind that XPC and SPS are actually quick detailers, but we wanted to throw them in this mix because one's graphene and one is quote-unquote ceramic, but you know how that goes. So we're gonna see how these are doing. So this is the first time in this video, because most of them was done at home, that I'm doing it with a pressure washer. But interesting finds, look at this. Tax System Quartz Max, fantastic. You can see the line of where Quartz Max ends and where XPC ceramic detail spray starts. It's pretty much shot. Surprising enough, both OptiSeal and HyperSeal are performing the same. One's almost double the cost, yet they're acting the same. Now, we haven't washed it, so maybe it will change. See my wash mitts right there. Geon Cure, it's pretty much done. Clear Finish Radiance, still sheeting, but still kind of, you know, it's sticking kind of the same as Cure. Those are both silica based. Both SPS Graphene and IGL Premier right now are looking good. Biotech is still repelling, but on its way out. Blackfire Sealant's pretty much been done. It's just that contact angle where it's rolling down, but you can see the Geon Cure is still beating, whereas this, that's just gravity that's repelling it off. It's pretty much shot. So let's foam this real quick, wash it, and see if anything changes. Back in POV mode here. So we washed with, I used 3D Nano soap. I was using pink soap. It's still neutral, shouldn't really make a difference, and it really didn't. So tax system still looking pretty good. A little bit more sheeting after that wash though, so it might have kind of weakened that a little bit. Again, we're at the 3.5 month mark. XPC, HyperSeal, OptiSeal all day after that wash. I mean, they're sheeting, but is it just the surface clean? Is it the angle of the hood? More than likely. There isn't much beading there. It's not a very strong bead. Look at the tax system. A lot better and a lot stronger. Geon weakened a little bit as well, but it's also sheeting. I think that's pretty much done. Clear finish radiance, same thing. Again, some beads down here, it's weird that it lasted here but not up there. Blackfire, that was the first one to go. Biotech, it's pretty much done too after that wash. There's not really prominent beading. It's not bad on the sides, but after that wash, now there is some sheeting. But look how fast it sheets with IGL Premier. And look at the beading. SPS graphene, same story. They're still hydrophobic. It really all depends on the angle that you hit it with the ball. So I'm gonna call this one and say the loser, or I should say in last place, is Blackfire. To be perfectly honest, I think in second last place could be Optimus. As much as these products cost, OptiSeal I'm okay with. Okay, it's HyperSeal. It did not last any longer than OptiSeal. So I would put HyperSeal in second last. In third, I think it's kind of like a three-way tie. Now in third, I would say XBC. Third way, because that's pretty much shot. But that's still to me was still performing better than OptiSeal and HyperSeal. Or I should say HyperSeal, not OptiSeal. But it's honestly pretty close. They all kind of lasted right around the same. 3.5 months they were done. So you could say XBC and OptiSeal, which is kind of shocking. Same thing with clear finish. That's kind of all in that lower tier. Geon, some of it's okay, but for the most part, that was pretty much done right around 3.5 months. So all of those there, HyperSeal, OptiSeal, XBC, Clear Finish Radiance, and Geon Cure, they all were pretty much dead at that 3.5 month mark. The only ones that lasted were Tax System Quartz Max. You can see how that last wash kind of broke down, but you can see that line. You can see where it stops and where XBC begins. So that's really cool. And actually, I forgot about Biotech. Biotech was good, and that last wash kind of did it for it. But realistically, I mean, IGO Premier and SPS, Graphene Detailer, very close. Too close to call, but it kind of gives you an idea of why you want to test these things out, you know. So we took, you know, HyperSeal, which is, you know, $50-$60 a bottle, and it's lasting just as long as OptiSeal, which is open to the public, you know, around, you know, $25. It's about half the price. So I mean, there's proof right there. XPC, you know, that's open to pretty much anybody. And, you know, that didn't last too bad based on the price. You can get a gallon of that stuff for like $30, which is pretty crazy. You know, Geon Cure, Clear Finish Radiance, Biotech, they all pretty much did kind of the same. The Blackfire, that was, yeah. So I'll rate these at the end of the video here. But I honestly think pretty close between Tax System, SPS Graphene Detailer, and IGL Premier. But what's crazy is, like I said, SPS Graphene is a quick detailer, and it did that well. So that's pretty impressive. So I'll let you guys be the judge. I'm gonna rate these at the end of the video here. I'll probably degreaser bath this and see if any of these things hold up here. Maybe I'll record that and kind of put that at the end of the video too. But we'll do a short recap here. I'm gonna get out of the rain. All right, guys. Well, that is it. So that was our little sealant test that we performed. Again, this lasted somewhere around, I believe it was 115 days. It was 3.5 months, a little bit more. It was put on my own personal vehicle. The car sat outside. It was washed a few times, and that was it. You know, it wasn't a torture test. We wanted to see how these sealants do in an environmental setting. As we know, you know, sealants break down when you wash them, you know, with certain soaps. That's why we kept a neutral soap. We wanted to see, you know, what did what and how certain things held up. And it was similar to what I thought. Honestly, kind of recapping, the Blackfire sealant dying first, that didn't really surprise me. Blackfire, they're a popular consumer name. They're on Detail King and Auto Geek and all that. And they don't make bad stuff, it's consumer grade stuff. So I assumed it would probably last 2, maybe 3 months. They actually fell a little bit shorter, so I was kind of surprised. But again, with a lot of synthetic sealants nowadays, you know, that's really all you get is around 3 months. So that really wasn't too shocking for me. I rated that one basically the kind of the loser in this scenario was the Blackfire, because that kind of died out first. But not far behind was Hyperseal. So I use Hyperseal a ton, and this was shocking to me that, you know, Hyperseal, which is a pro grade product, it's not open to the public, but OptiSeal is. They both last just as long. So does that mean OptiSeal is terrible? No. I assumed and I believe that most of these would last around 3.5 months in my environment. It doesn't mean that they can't last longer in yours, but in Florida, where there's, especially we're in the summer now, you know, we're in July, mid-July, and the seas are more active, there's way more airborne contamination, minerals, and just the heat, everything. The hotter your paint gets, the more the paint expands, those contaminants get trapped in there. It affects how the sealant works, and you kind of see what happened, you know. So I wasn't too shocked by OptiSeal. Hyperseal, really, I was like, wow. And I'd be lying if I said that I'm probably not going to phase it out now, because there's really no reason to spend, you know, from a business standpoint, you know, $45, $50 a bottle when you can get the same results out of OptiSeal, which is 50-60% less. So OptiSeal didn't disappoint me. Hyperseal, a little shocked. XPC, you know, the hex sauce, which a lot of guys call it, it didn't fare that bad for a quick detailer. It lasted around 3 months. That stuff's $30 a gallon. If you're an up-and-coming detailer, if you have a express service or something like that, throw that on everything. It is not a bad product, especially for the price. You got to think you're maybe spending 15 cents in product each time you do a car. That stuff, it still impresses me. It's crazy. Not everybody likes it. It does have silicone in it, so it can be streaky and things like that. But you know, it's funny that a $30 a gallon of XPC can perform just as good as OptiSeal and Hyperseal. It just goes to show you have to test your products, you know. Clear Finish Radiance and Geon Cure, those are both silica based. They both lasted around the same. I kind of expected it out of it. I use both Clear Finish and Geon products. They are fantastic. But I figured I would get somewhere around 2 or 3 months out of those. The tax system really blew me away. I don't know if it blew me away, but it impressed me that it's still lasting. I figured that would be dead. But if you've ever used Quartz Max by Tax Systems and smell the solvents in there, you can tell that it is a heavy sealant. So the fact that it lasted it speaks volumes about Tax System. It's really a shame what's going on with them. Their products are not readily available. Carzilla.ca is really the only website you can get their products through. They're having issues in the U.S. getting stuff over, I guess, with COVID, so it's not really available through them. You'd have to go through a third party, and it costs a lot more. So Biotech, they're a small name. You can see I wear their shirts a lot. They are a Florida-based company. I do support them. I was hoping it would last a little bit longer, 3.5 months. You know, when they did testing initially, they said it was going to last upwards of 6 months.
Maybe it needs more maintenance. Maybe I'm not sure, you know. But it didn't disappoint. It was lasting good, basically up until that last wash, you know. Really, IGL Premier and SPS Graphene, I think, are the clear coat winners. You could even say SPS Graphene because it's a quick detailer. They both lasted awesome. You know, towards that last wash, and again, this is why we show this, that last wash, they started cheating more. When you wash a car with a detergent, with a soap, with a shampoo, with anything, it is going to break it down. So that's why we show it with just water, and then we show it with the shampoo or whatever cleaner you're using. We just made sure not to use harsh degreasers because those will break it down, you know, even faster. But it was good to see they had great hydrophobics, and then that wash, you know, did weaken it a little bit. But in my opinion, you know, I think SPS might have taken this one, but SPS, IGL, tax systems all were basically the top three in whatever sequential order you want to do it. They all performed beautifully. They were all still beating. They were the only ones on the car that still were beating and working as is. So I think that's kind of my takeaway from it. I chose not to do a degreaser bath. I'm gonna let it roll. I'm gonna leave it for another 2 weeks and see how they do. I've got to kind of get some things lined up before we do these coating tests. I've got 3 cars, so I may just do the ceramic test the 1 year on my little Kia Forte that I picked up, and let this roll just for another future video. But this was part 5. This was the culmination, I guess, of this test. And it's just, you know, it's good to see. You know, a lot of people throw degreasers or purple power or whatever on there, and that doesn't really prove much. I mean, chemical resistance, I guess, but sealants they're so cost effective that, you know, if you get water spots or you get something like that, just strip it off and redo it, you know. But I do thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this 5-part series. We are going to be doing this again with some ceramic coating, so look for those videos in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. I have some other things that I kind of have lined up that I'm going to show for you guys. But if you've enjoyed this, please give me a like and a subscribe here at the Detailer's Lab. Comment in the comment section. If there are sealants you would like to see tested, please let me know. I know some people have mentioned CarPro Reload, Angel Wax TI22. I'm all for doing more testing, so if there's certain ones that you guys are using that you want to see how they fare up against something else, please, by all means, let me know. But thanks for tuning in. If you can't hear, I got some work in the shop I got to get done. So thanks for tuning in. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, leave us a comment in the comment section, and we'll see you next time.